grab a couple pillows for today. We're gonna get started in supported fish. So you can use blocks, pillows, a bolster. Basically what you want is your chest to be the highest part of your body. So if you don't have blocks or bolsters, just stack a couple of pillows and then you're just gonna lay back over top of them and take your arms out wide. If you do have blocks, you can bring your blocks so that they're on the medium and then the high level, and you'll drape your shoulders to land on the medium block, and then your head should land onto the highest block. Once again, arms can come out wide. If that feels too much, just take your hands down closer towards your body. And bolster can be used in the same way as pillows. So either lengthwise, or you can take it horizontally and use a block for your head. If you want to add in a slight hip opener, you can always take your knees out to the left and out to the right. But if this doesn't feel like something that you're craving today, you can always just extend your legs out long. And before fully settling into this shape, just start to rock your head side to side a couple of times. Notice the length on the sides of your neck. Allow your chin to rest heavy. And then the next time that your chin comes up through center, pause. Start to reach through your right fingertips. So instead of having a soft elbow, start to straighten out your arm. Really press the back of your hand into the mat so your elbow might even lift off. And then take your chin to the left. So look the opposite direction from where you're reaching. Allow your head to just hang heavy. And take about 3 breaths on each side. So maybe one more breath here. On your exhale, you can slowly lift your chin up through center and then soften again into that right arm. Find the other side, start to extend through your left arm, creating this pose to be a little bit more active. And then when you're ready, allow your chin to drop to your right shoulder. You should feel deep sensation through the shoulder, maybe even down the length of your arm. And then after your next exhale, you can just slowly come back to center. Let's just do that one more time. So reach through your right hand, allow your gaze to fall over to the left. And slowly bring yourself back through center and find the other side. You can come back to center. We'll just pause here for a moment to get grounded. You can just soften into your elbows if you need a little less sensation. As you breathe in, can you feel specifically your heart space at the center of your sternum, lifting up towards your chin? And as you exhale, can you just feel it gently soften back down towards center? Start to breathe into the corners of your rib cage, out to the left and to the right. You're creating this expansiveness of your chest and of your body. And always an opportunity to just soften and relax as you exhale. Let's take 3 more breaths on our back in supported fish pose. Slowly, you can just start to lift yourself away from your blocks and roll yourself over to your right hip. And keeping yourself slightly lifted with your hands, just help to slide your blocks or bolster just away from your mat for a moment, and then come down onto your right side for fetal position. Head will rest heavy into your right bicep, especially at the start of this week, to just create an intention in moving forward. Sometimes it is why we showed up on our mat, or it's just something that we want to call in. Maybe something that has been lacking this week or we haven't given enough attention to. So just why are you showing up today, and maybe what can you use this practice to call in? Use your left hand to gently press yourself back up and come to seated at the top of your mat. Hands land onto your knees or your thighs and just roll out your shoulders a couple of times. Keep the back of your neck long. And the next time that your shoulders roll down towards the ground, take a full breath in and start to lift up through the crown of the head like you're growing taller through your spine. And as you exhale, pour your left ear towards your left shoulder. Optional to take your right hand and start to walk it off to the side. Maybe even allow your eyes to close. And then turn your chin down towards your left armpit and notice how the sensation is starting to shift, maybe more into the side or the front of your neck. Try to soften and relax into the muscles on the tops of your shoulders. Slowly start to guide your chin down through center. And then you can release your right hand back onto your thigh if it was extended out. Continue this half circle all the way until your right ear lands towards your right shoulder, gazes forward. And you can start to walk your left fingertips out if you want just a little bit more sensation. Doesn't have to be far, it just gives you that extra bit of length down the arm. So if you can find your breath, even through the sensations of this pose, the lengthening, everything that's happening, you still notice the rise and fall of your breath. And start to bring your chin down towards your armpit, gaze drops, chin tucks in. Pause here for a few breaths. Just giving yourself time to feel into sensation. Time to be present. And slowly guide your chin all the way down through center. As you inhale, reach your arms up, start to lift your gaze. Interlace your hands overhead and flip your palms up. As you exhale, pour over to the left. Use your core to stop you from falling over. And as you inhale, contract through the right side body to lift up. And exhale, pour over to the right. You might feel a little bit sticky today, and that's okay. So inhale up through center. Exhale over to the left. And inhale up through center. Exhale over to the right. Take one more inhale up through center. And exhale, release the grip of your hands and just fold forward over top of your thighs, over top of your calves. You can allow your body to slightly round, just relax into your spinal column. Allow your head to hang or rest heavy. Now, when you're ready, start to move forward to tabletop. So some of you might just keep sliding your hands forward, roll over top of your ankles, and then uncross them. Or you may need to walk your hands back up into seated, and then just untangle your legs back behind you. Stacking your bones in tabletop. Hips over knees, shoulders over wrists. Use your inhale breath. Drop your belly down. Lift your gaze, lift your tailbone. Exhale, press into your hands, curl and round your spine, tuck your chin to your chest. You take 3 more just like that. Inhale to open up the front of your body, and exhale to curl and round in. Really start to feel how your breath initiates this movement. And how the two start to almost dance together. Rather than becoming 2 separate entities, they weave together as one. Finish off this last round. And then tuck your toes under. Start to hover your knees off of your mat. Feel the strength into your quads, belly button tucks into spine, into your core, into your arms. Press the earth away. Now start to lengthen out your spine, send your hips back to your heels. Deep, deep, deep bend into your knees. Should feel your quads really firing up. On an inhale breath, start to straighten out your legs. Heels are lifted high. And then as you exhale, meet into downward facing dog. You can shake your head, yes or no, relax into the back of your neck. You might even start to pedal out your feet, just bending one knee at a time. Starting to invite yourself into your body and into this practice. Looking forward, tippy toe your way to the top of your mat. So start to find some length into the backs of your legs. Once you land at the top of your mat, take an inhale breath to halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. Big giant stretch. And exhale, gather your hands to heart center. Interlace your hands onto your heart, so palms land over top of your sternum or your chest. Just close down your eyes for a moment. Feel your heart beat beneath your rib cage. Take a couple of cooling, long, slow, relaxing breaths. Melt your shoulders away from your ears. Take one more inhale breath. And then as you exhale, start to sit back into your chair. Flip your palms to face out and press your hands away from you. Tuck your chin to your chest. You have a long back, hinged forward. And then inhale, stand tall, hands lift up towards the sky. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Interlace your hands onto your chest. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, sit back into your chair. Push your hands forward. Inhale, breath, stand tall. Start to draw your biceps beside your ears. And exhale, flip your hands to heart center. Interlace your fingers one more time, palms over chest. Take a breath in. Exhale, press out, sit back. Inhale, lift your hands all the way up. Exhale, release the grip of your fingertips, sweep your arms out to the left and right and forward fold. Take an inhale breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left toes back. Optional to lower the knee, or if you want a little bit more of a challenge this morning, keep your knee lifted. As you inhale, reach your right fingertips up and start to twist over to the right side of your mat. Think about cat-cow movements of your spine. As you exhale, thread your right hand underneath your front thigh and curl and round your spine, tucking chin to your chest. Inhale, breath. Reach your right fingertips all the way up, untwist, and exhale, curl and round in. Thread your arm underneath your thigh. Let's take 2 more just like that. Reach through the fingertips, expand across the chest,
And exhale, contract. Separate your shoulder blades. Last one, inhale, reach up. And exhale, curl and round in. Use your inhale to reach your right hand towards the sky. And then exhale, release your right hand down towards the ground. Turn and pivot to the left for Skandasana. Turn all 10 toes towards the left side of your mat and just start to bend into your left knee. So both feet can be rooted down onto the ground. If you want to take this deeper, you're welcome to lower your hips. But if that's feeling pretty sticky today, you can just stay here. Feel some length into your front leg, your right inner thigh. Move towards the front again, all the way towards your low runner's lunge. Turn and pivot all 10 toes to the side of your mat. So your right foot will be planted and you're on the pinky side edge of your left foot. Take your right hand all the way up and then just reach your right fingertips over. So you're in a modified side plank. If you were to move this right foot to stack over your left, you would find yourself in a full side plank. Press into your feet, lift your hips up, and you should get a nice big stretch through that right hip. And then start to turn and pivot your toes to the top of your mat. Plant your hands and step your toes back to a high plank. Lower onto your knees. Lower your chest to the ground. Walk your fingertips out wide so that your elbows point up to the ceiling and hands are off of your mat. Tent up onto all 10 fingertips. As you inhale, peel your body away from your mat. As you exhale, roll your right shoulder forward and look over to the left. On an inhale breath, roll back up through center, and exhale, take your left shoulder forward and look over to the right. And just continue to move side to side. Exhale, breaths lower you. Inhales bring you up through center. Take one more to each side, finishing off this third round. The next time that you come up through center, just gently release your body back down and then walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up through a tabletop. Send your hips back to child's pose for one full breath. Take an inhale and an exhale once you land there. And then knee into your downward facing dog. Okay. Looking forward, step or hop your way towards the top of your mat. Inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. And exhale to fold. Bend into your knees. Inhale, breath, sweep your arms all the way up. And exhale, gather your hands to heart center. Interlace your hands on your chest. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, sit into your chair, flip your palms and press your hands away from your butt. Inhale, lift up through center, squeeze your glutes. Exhale, unwind your fingertips and swan dive forward. Inhale, breath to halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step your right toes back. Optional, lower your right knee if it's feeling like a lot of effort to have that knee lifted. Keep your right hand rooted down and start to float your left fingertips up towards the sky in a twist. Take an inhale breath to reach up and lengthen. As you exhale, curl and round in, left hand threads underneath your front thigh. Inhale breath, reach up, expand, and exhale to thread underneath. Take 2 more rounds of this breath and movement. Squeezing your inner thighs to help stabilize your legs. On your next inhale breath, reach your left fingertips all the way up. And then exhale, release your left hand to the inside of your front foot. Start to turn and pivot to the right. Skandasana on the other side. This should feel like a nice release for that left hip as you just bend into your back knee. Hands can stay rooted down. You can always lower your hips if you'd like. Really yogi's choice, the depth that you want to come to at the start of this practice. And then slowly start to shift your way forward once again to your low runner's lunge. Planting into your hands, step back to your plank pose. Lower onto your knees. Inhale, breath, shift forward, shoulders towards fingertips. And then exhale, lower yourself all the way down, belly, heart, and head. Keep your hands as they are, but start to float your palms off of your mat. Squeeze your elbows in towards your rib cage. And then as you inhale, press into the tops of your feet and feel the crown of your head pull forward. Naturally, you'll begin to lift, but there's more of an emphasis on lengthening. As you exhale, just gently fold back down towards the ground. Let's take that 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen, tuck your chin to your chest, start to rise up, and exhale to fold. 1 more time, inhale, breath to lengthen through the spine, and exhale to fold. Press into your hands, take 1 full breath in the child's pose. Set your hips back to your heels. And then knee into downward facing dog. Tucking your toes under, rise your hips all the way up. On an inhale breath, float your left foot high to the sky, bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. And then as you exhale, step your left foot outside of your left hand. Turn and pivot all of your toes towards the left side. So you land on that pinky side edge of your right foot, left foot is rooted. Right hand stays down, and just start to lift your left fingertips up in a modified plank. Optional, take your left fingertips over to the front. So you're getting nice sweeping stretch all the way through the side body. See if you can press into the earth, rise your hips a little bit higher. And then as you exhale, turn and pivot to the top of your mat again. Step your left toes back, high plank. All right, this time working towards vinyasa. You can come from your toes or from your knees. Inhale, shift forward, and then exhale, lower halfway. As you inhale, pull your heart forward, press the tops of your feet in your mat, up dog, and exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, and a long exhale, breath up. Walk your right toes and left toes together to touch. Inhale, right heel rises high to the sky. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Feel a little bit different this time. Root through your right fingertips. Start to bring your left hand up towards the sky. So it should feel like a lot of work. Back heel is still lifted. Optional, you can lift up from this shape, or if you want more stability, turn your back foot and plant it. So your feet are in warrior 2, or your feet are in more of a lunge pose. So yogi's choice. Slowly start to stack your shoulders over top of your hips. Those of you, once you come up, your back heel is still lifted. Now turn and plant it and meet into a warrior 2. Okay. Flip your front palm to face up. As you inhale, straighten out your front leg. Reach your right hand all the way up towards the sky. Left hand slides down your back leg. And then as you exhale, come back, warrior 2. Bend into your front knee, press your palms down. Inhale, straighten into your front leg. Reach through the side body, right hand to the sky. Exhale, warrior 2. One more time. Inhale, breath, reach up and lengthen. Exhale to triangle. Start to kick your hips back. Reach your right fingertips forward. When you can't reach anymore, right hand can land to the inside of your front thigh. Left hand reaches up. Now notice if you're just kind of hanging out in this pose, it can be really easy to not actually engage your muscles. So squeeze into your glutes, draw your belly button into your spine, and then slide your shoulder blades to one another to create that space across the chest. Take your bottom hand out in front of you. So pointing off to the side, almost like you're holding a tray of chocolates in your hand. So making this a little bit more challenging. Bend into your front knee and then take that hand that's holding the chocolates and bring your forearm onto your thigh. Extended side angle, start to draw your left fingertips over towards the front. Turn your pinky side edge of your hand slightly down. Gaze can come up or over or just stay straight ahead. Let's work into a half bind. Start to bring your left hand behind your lower back. Maybe it reaches for your right hip. And then just lean back into your hand. So roll your left shoulder open. Feel the space across your chest, rooting equally through both feet. Okay. If your hand is still behind your back, you can gently start to reach your left fingertips up to the sky. Inhale, breath lift all the way up, warrior two. Straighten out your front leg and turn and pivot your toes to the side of your mat. Hands come onto your hips. Roll your shoulders once or twice. Just release any of that tension. As you inhale, pull your shoulders back, lift through your chest. As you exhale, start to forward fold. Crown of your head comes down towards your mat. If you want, you can release your hands down. If you're craving movement, you might just gently bend into your knees side to side, start to invite in some opening of inner thighs. Otherwise, you're welcome to just pause in this more restorative pose. Start to walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Turn and pivot your toes towards the top of your mat. Back toes can always turn slightly out, but try to keep that back heel rooted down. If you can't quite root the back heel down, just step your back foot up and shorten the stance. Optional to use a block for your left hand. Keep your left hand rooted and start to slide your right hand up your right hip towards your lower back, or reach your right fingertips all the way up in a reverse triangle. Gaze comes wherever is comfortable. As you reach from one hand to the other, feel the expansion across your chest. Squeeze your inner thighs towards one another. And then as you exhale, gently release from your twist. Both hands come down to the ground and step to a fold at the top of your mat. Take an inhale, breath, halfway lift and lengthen. Exhale, full plant your hands, step your toes back, high plank. Optional, you can ripple through the spine to down dog, or you can take a vinyasa, high to low plank, up dog, down dog. So yogi's choice, but we'll all eventually meet into downward facing dog. Walk your big toes together to touch. As you inhale, draw your left heel high to the sky, bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. Exhale, breath, step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. So you have a bit of a wider stance. Okay. Root evenly through both feet. Back heel can stay lifted, or if you want more stability, turn and pivot the back foot so your toes point to the side of the mat. Either way with your feet, right fingertips start to reach up, so you're coming into a twist. And then slower than you'd like, float your left fingertips off your mat and start to stack your shoulders over top of your hips. Once you come up with your back heel is lifted, turn and plant your foot and meet into your warrior two. Flip your front palm to face up. As you inhale, straighten out your front leg. Take your left hand up towards the sky, right hand slides down your back leg. As you exhale, bend back into your front knee, warrior two. Gaze follows your left middle finger. Inhale, breath, lift up, lengthen, create some energy through that side body. And exhale, warrior two, round and root down. One more time, inhale, breath, lift up. This time to triangle. Instead of warrior two, start to kick your hips back. Keep your legs straight, reach through your left fingertips. And when you can't reach anymore, bring your left hand to the ground or to the inside of your leg or shin. and then right hand reaches up. Can you feel your right hip engaged to hold you in this shape? So instead of just splaying open, can you squeeze into your glutes? Use your core to stop from just dumping onto that front shin so that both sides of your body are lengthened. Now take your bottom hand and start to reach it out in front of you, palm facing up. Bend into your front knee and bring your left forearm onto your thigh. Start to reach your right fingertips over towards your extended side ankle. Notice if it feels like you're gripping or you're dumping into your side body. Can you just take a little bit of weight out of that left forearm? Working into a half bind, begin to flip your right palm away from your body and take the back of your hand towards your lower back or even towards your front hip. Just roll your right shoulder open. So not working into that full bind where you don't have to right away, just really working into that opening of the shoulders and the chest. Lean into the back of your right hand. I'm right here with you. Still breathing. All right. If you are in that half bind, just start to release. Right hand comes all the way up towards the sky. Inhale, breath, lift up, warrior two. And then exhale, straighten into your front leg and turn and pivot your toes to the side of your mat. Interlace your hands behind your back. Roll your shoulders once or twice. On your next inhale breath, lift your sternum up, send your knuckles towards the ground. And as you exhale, soft bend into your knees. Start to hinge forward and fold. Hands can stay rooted at your lower back, or you can allow them to gently fall away. If this is a lot for your shoulders, you're welcome to release from this grip and take any variation that serves you in this shape. If your hands are still rooted or away from your lower back, bring them towards your body first and then allow your hands to release. Walk your hands out in front of you. Come into a really wide-legged down dog. So maybe walk your hands about 2 feet away from the mat and then bring your thumbs together to touch. Start to look underneath your left armpit, taking a down dog twist. Look towards your left foot at the top of your mat and take your right hand to wrap around your left foot or ankle or thigh, shin, whatever's available. Hollow out your left armpit towards the ground. Feel like there's a magnet between your armpit and the earth beneath you. And just allow your armpit to rest heavy. And then gently on your exhale breath, release right thumb beside your left. Root through your right hand and then start to bind your left hand towards your back leg. This time your right armpit hollows out. You can always bend into your knees, take more weight into your feet, but really creating that length into your spine. And gently unravel from your twist. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders again. Turn and pivot towards the top of your mat. So you'll meet into your pyramid. Right hand this time stays rooted. Start to bring your left fingertips all the way up towards your left hip or reaching up towards the sky for your reverse triangle or reverse pyramid. Squeeze your inner thighs. It's meant to be a really challenging pose. Lengthen out through the spine, almost like you could have a flat back. Take one more full breath in. And then as you exhale, gently release your left hand down and step back to a high plank. This time, lower all the way to your belly, either from toes or from your knees. So yogi's choice. And you'll come all the way down. Start to walk your hands out in front of you for Sphinx pose.
The elbows will land underneath your shoulders. Palms planted down, fingertips point forward. Like you have a 90-degree angle or your arms are making a box shape. If this feels a lot in your lower back, I find taking your feet out a little bit wider can help. But you can also walk your fingertips just further forward so you're not lifted up quite as high. Allow your chin to tuck down towards your chest. Soften into the muscles of your glutes. Just start to take some deep diaphragmatic inhales and exhales so that you're allowing your belly to rise up with each inhale, pressing down into the earth, creating a little extra lift, and then allowing your belly to hollow out with each exhale. Take 2 more breaths. Start to walk your elbows out wide to the sides of your mat and just place either cheek onto your mat. To release your lower back, you can gently start to rock your hips to the left and to the right, or you're welcome to bend your knees, picking up your feet, and start to take your feet over side to side like windshield wipers. Yeah. Release the tops of your feet down onto your mat. Bring your chin back through center for just a moment and extend your left arm either out to the side or cactus shape your arm. Legs will stay straight. Turn your left cheek to your mat. So left fingertips extend out, left cheek is to your mat. Plant your right hand beside your right shoulder, beside your chest, and start to roll yourself over towards your left hip. So the pose might look a little bit more like this with your left arm out straight, or you can always bend into that left elbow. This will get you a little bit deeper into the pec major and minor. So a bit of more about the chest and less about the shoulder. So you can kind of choose if you want that arm out long or you want to bend or cactus that arm. Notice if you are trying to hold yourself up in this shape, can you ease out of some of the depth just so that you can relax, create some space into the muscles that kind of oppose the rounding of your shoulders. So often when our shoulders are quite tight, we think that we need to stretch the back of the body, but often it's our chest muscles that are really tight. So we need to create some space here. On your next exhale breath, gently roll yourself back onto your belly. Find the other side, right arm will extend out long or cactus shape. Bring your right cheek to your mat. Plant into your left hand and start to roll yourself over onto your right hip. Legs take any shape that is comfortable or feels good for the lower back, that it doesn't add in any pulling. And then just settle in for a little bit of a pause in these next few breaths. Gently roll yourself back down onto your belly. Bring your chin to your mat and then interlace your hands behind your back. Zip up your toes, so big toes come together to touch
And your entire leg zip up as well together. On an inhale breath, start to pull your knuckles back towards your heels. Feel your chin and your chest start to rise off of the mat. Option to squeeze your glutes and lift your feet as well. Think more about length than about lifting. So really reaching the crown of your head forward and the knuckles and toes reaching back. Hold for one more full inhale breath. And then as you exhale, gently release back down. Take either cheek to your mat and hands come down beside your body. Take some nourishing recovery breaths as you allow your spine to melt back towards neutral. Bring your chin back to the center of your mat. Bend into your knees. Not quite coming into boat pose just yet, but start to reach for the tops of your feet. Reach for the pinky side edge of your feet or tops of your feet so your palms actually face in towards the body. And then chin towards your mat. Just start to bend your elbows and bring your heels in close towards your glutes. If this starts to feel like a lot in your lower back, just release some of that tension onto your knees and into your elbows. Hold for one more breath in this active lengthening. And then as you exhale, you can gently release the grips of your feet, tops of your feet to your mat. Take the opposite cheek down and just rest for a few breaths. Always optional if you need movement. You can drop your feet left and right like windshield wipers. Bring your chin back through center, last back bending on our belly. Bend your heels in towards your body, catching the tops of your feet. Now you're welcome to pause here and just take that same shape that we did on the first time that we did this, or start to kick into your hands, knees lift off of your mat, shoulder and chest start to peel off of your mat. Maybe your gaze even starts to lift up. Notice if your knees are splaying out wide, feel like you're drawing your inner thighs towards one another. Take one more deep, full belly breath. And then when you exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly lower down to your mat without slingshotting your feet. Just allow them almost like they're moving through molasses or through honey. Either cheek to your mat. Take 5 full recovery breaths. Imagine you could send your breath all the way down towards your lower back, towards your sacrum. Bring your chin to your mat, plant your hands underneath your shoulders, and just slowly start to peel yourself away from the ground. Spine might feel a little sticky, so come back into tabletop and just start to rinse out your spine, taking your hips side to side, forward or back, couple of cat-cows. Okay. Then come back through center, tuck your toes under, and then walk your hands in towards your knees and slowly walk your hands up your thighs. So you're stacking your shoulders over your hips, over your knees. Bring your hands like you're sliding them into imaginary pockets. And then just start to pull your elbows back. Maybe even roll your shoulders once. Squeeze your glutes so you feel like you're sending your hips forward. And then just start to lean back in towards your hands. If you feel this a lot into your head or neck, just keep a slight tuck of your chin towards your chest. You don't have to go into this full variation of camel, but really just focus on that opening of the shoulders and of the front of the body. Make sure that you can still breathe wherever you've chosen to land in this shape. Continue to send your hips forward so they still stack over top of your knees, even though you're leaning back. And then use your hands to press in towards your glutes, slowly rise up through center. Untuck your toes and just sit your hips back onto your heels or come to whatever a comfortable seat is. Neutral spine. Hands can land onto your knees or thighs. And just take a couple of deep recovery breaths. Camel can often bring up a lot within your practice of expansion. It can feel a little dizzying or nauseating if we're not breathing. Just using this time in between our first and second pose of camel to reset. Whenever you're ready, start to pick your hips off of your heels again, setting up for a second round of camel. Knowing that you don't have to go any deeper than that first round, but you are welcome to. And I will cue it, but know that you can stay exactly as you are. So squeeze your glutes, send your hips forward, start to pull your elbows back. Gaze might come up towards the ceiling. Now, if you start to tip your gaze back, you can see the wall behind you. You may even be able to take one and then the other hand down towards your heels. But notice if you've lost engagement with your glutes, send your hips forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades. Make sure that you're breathing within this shape. Giving yourself that extra space to just simply be. Now, if your hands are on your heels, slowly you'll bring your hands up to your lower back and then start to straighten out your spine. Once shoulders are over hips, just sit yourself back onto your heels. Hands come onto your knees and just pause. Close down your eyes. Heart openers can also feel just like a lot of sensation. They can feel a little scary or like a lot to hold. And so just remembering that even in those moments, your breath is always there to just bring you back into connection, to bring you back to this place of center within yourself. Start to make your way onto your seat, shifting your feet out to either side. Legs can extend long, or you can always add in props underneath your knees if you find folding in this shape quite tight for the hamstrings or the creases of the hips. Take an inhale, breath, reach your arms all the way up. And then as you exhale, just start to hinge and fold forward. So belly, and then thigh, and then head. If you want extra support for your head, grab pillows or stacks of books that you can rest your forehead on. It might feel nice after camel to just allow your head to hang heavy, chin tucking in towards your chest. Should feel a gentle release through the back of your rib cage and shoulders and lower back. And send your inhales into those places that feel sticky. Can you feel how your body starts to get heavier and heavier with each breath that it takes? Last couple of breaths in your fold. Maybe just allowing yourself to tap into that full feeling of surrender. And then slowly, you can start to walk your hands up the length of your legs until you come to a neutral spine. Scoot yourself forward so your hips are about in the middle of your mat. Bend your knees. And just slowly lower yourself down. Once you come down, it might feel nice to take your knees into your chest. Just gently rock side to side, massaging out lower back. I know low back can get a little bit finicky in back bends, so just giving a little bit of extra length and love. We'll close off with a couple of twists, which can be really nourishing for the spine, especially after back bends. So you can gently release the soles of your feet onto your mat. Pressing into your feet, pick your hips up and over to the left side, and then just allow your knees to drop over to the right. Always optional to bring props in between your thighs or your knees. If you have large gaps between your bottom knee and the ground, props or blocks can be nice in that shape too. Arms extend out long or cactus or T shape, and just allow your gaze to fall over top of your left shoulder. So whether back bends are some of your favorite poses or whether they're poses that you find that you really struggle with, can you still just tap into the sensation of opening that's across your chest right now? That after all of the movement that you found, that you've created just a little bit more space in your heart center to move through your day with. Gently bring your chin up through center. And you can slowly lift your knees back up. Shift your hips into the middle of your mat. Take any movements that you're creating in between sides, whether that's knees in or a big giant stretch. And then when you're ready, just simply finding the other side, pressing into your feet, shift your hips up and over to the right, and then allow your knees to gently drop over to the left. Right arm extends out, gaze is over top of your right shoulder if that's comfortable. Take any variation of the arms that serves you. As long as both shoulder blades are rooted, you're exactly where you need to be. And start to settle into this really gentle pose, meant to be nourishing for your spine. So make sure that there's no pulling or pain, that it's really just a comfortable folding of the self. Slowly bring your chin back up through center. Lift your knees up and away from the ground. Take any final movements or poses you're craving. Happy baby might be nice. Just knees into your chest. Shoulder stand plow. Really doesn't matter. It could just be movement side to side. And then when you're ready, you can start to ease yourself into your final Shavasana. If you want some extra props for Shavasana, you can place a bolster or some of your pillows underneath your knees or even underneath the back of your head. And just close down your eyes. Allow your eyelids to rest heavy. So I know for myself, back bends can feel like a lot at times, and it takes a lot of concentration to stay in some of these shapes. And it can be
really easy to start to talk down to ourselves within our practice of what we can or can't do, or we start to push ourselves because we feel like it's not enough. And so I hope that as we continue to practice together, you continue to cultivate this understanding that just showing up on your mat is enough. And just breathing and moving your body is enough. We are all born with this inner light, this inner connection. And yoga really isn't about the poses. The breath helps us connect, but it's not even about finding perfect breath. It's just a matter of showing up imperfectly, of moving in a way that nourishes you, and about creating space for yourself in each and every one of those moments of your practice. Because it's easy to create space when we feel good or we're proud of ourselves, but it's not always easy to do that when we don't feel ourselves or we feel off or challenged. So if any of that came up for you today, just simply allow that to release so that you have some space to just simply lay in Shavasana for another minute or so. I'll bring you out of this when we are ready to close off together. So until then, you can just rest your tired body, busy mind. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Fill all the way up. And exhale out through your mouth. Just let that go. If you don't have to be anywhere and you're not quite ready to move yet, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana. Otherwise, you can gently just start to move in towards your body, wiggling into fingertips and wiggling into toes. Maybe taking a giant stretch overhead. Any movements that feel good that will eventually bring you up to seated, where you can just land with your hands at heart center. And then humbling your chin down towards your chest. Take a moment to just find some gratitude for yourself for showing up. And to also hold space as we imperfectly move through this week. That this week is not necessarily going to go according to plan, and that there's actually a lot of beauty in that spontaneity that we can find in the moments that go a little off kilter, in the moments that maybe we didn't expect. From the bottom of my heart, so much love and so much gratitude for you. Namaste. I will stay on for a short discussion if anyone wants to join just about having space for yourself, no matter what's happening around you. If you do have to head off, thank you for joining me, and so much love to you.
Thanks, Lauren. I've got to scoot this morning.
No worries.